Okay. Let's first do let's do it in the same order. Let's do breach. So I'm going to show you a good example of how breach can be used. We're going to start with his C ability, which is called aftershock. It's the really, really high burst through the wall. So now this thing, if you pay attention to the mini map, that's where you see where the blast is going to go. So you see that little blue square in the mini map top left, okay? That's where it's going to go. So this is really important because look how far away you can use it from. You could shoot this thing across the map, right? So if you wanted to, you could hit somebody that's in this area, which let's call it U-Haul. That's what people are saying. So you can hit them from all the way back here, right? Boom. And then it pops right here, and it's gonna hit anybody, right? And the same goes for the Q. So your Q is your flashbang. This flashbang, it has a little it's a lot harder to see because it's like a yellow circle in the mini map. So if you look top left of the mini map, you can also shoot this pretty far away, and it'll show where it's gonna hit. So if you have a teammate that's about to push, U-Haul, and they're ready to peek, you could pop flash for him on the other side. Honestly, I think he's also essential just because flashbangs are so important. They're such an important utility. Now, E is your ability that you have every 33 seconds. You don't have to purchase this ability. And now this, if you look at the top left mini-map as well, that's how you want to aim all of your abilities because it'll help you guide where you're going to shoot a lot easier. If you're not familiar with the map, just look at the mini-map, right? So you can charge this up, and it gets longer. So that's max charge. So you can help your team if they're trying to push down short A right here. You can help your team by shooting it off to the right. And it's going to stun anybody in that line. So your team can go ahead and swing and knowing whatever you stunned is going to be stunned, right? And now for the ultimate, this is the big aftershock ability, or the big fault line ability. It's called Rolling Thunder. If you look top left, you have that giant red indicator. So, for example, let's use A. If your team is about to explode on A, you could pop that, and boom. Now they work with that ultimate ability, and now everybody, there's no hiding from it. Everybody in that cone is going to get hit by the stun, the slow, and the screen disorient, right? It's huge. Very, very useful. Very good to initiate on any single location, and that's why he has the initiator role. Sage is essential. I think she's always going to be useful for the team. I think if you're not running her as part of your team comp, it might be a bad time. And I'll show you why when we jump in the game. All right. So here we got Sage. If you hold F1, her abilities are Barrier Orb, which throws up a wall. Slow Orb, which is a slowing orb in a big like radius. Her E is her heal, which you can heal your teammates or yourself. And her ultimate is to res a teammate as long as you're within range. And they'll be, I think, full HP. So you don't hear anything. They're probably not up yet. But just in case you don't want to peek and lose your life, you'll throw a slow orb, right? The reason why you throw a slow orb is if they're in this orb, you'll hear them. And they're not going to walk through it. So you're stalling time right now. Stalling time. You didn't hear anything. Okay, maybe you get a little crazy. Nothing. Okay, cool. Keep holding. Keep holding. Wait a little bit longer. You have another slow orb because you have 2 charges. You could throw another one down. Boom. You're stalling some more. Let's say you want to get this control orb or capture orb. Throw a wall down. I kind of messed that one up. Sorry. You could probably do it better like this. Well, there we go. My bad. And now you can pick this orb up. If they want to get past this, they're going to have to make a lot of noise by breaking it. So as you can see, it's slowly beginning to crack. But it takes quite a bit of time. It's still going. This is like a 30-second wall if they don't break it. Very, very good information. And very good to delay the enemy team. Let's say you're pushing up. Okay. Slow orb there. Slow orb there. And now you want to block off this area. You can actually, make sure it's all clear first and then do something like this. And you can lift yourself up. And now you're in a pretty high position where you can get like some crazy angles on people, and you lift yourself up. You can also lift your team up, so long as they're under this, you can lift them up. Then she's got her E, which is left click team heal, right click self heal. It'll heal to full fairly quickly, so it's really, really important. And then her X is just a resurrect. You have to make sure their body's somewhat close. A good way of using this would be an example of your teammates aggressing right here. You're right behind them. Let's say your teammate goes down, throw a wall up, and now resurrect them real quick. And now you get to resurrect them in a safe position. And you got a lot of information because your teammate was so aggressive that he was able to spot them. Maybe he got a kill, maybe not. All that matters is there's enough information there, you know? So Sage is really, really simple, really straightforward. She's really based off of timings, and she can control the rotates, she could control pushes, and she could just wall off different sections to make it easier for your team, right? I think no matter what, you're going to want a Sage on your team. If you feel like you're more of a support player, this is probably the character for you. All right. We're going to do Brimstone. So his C ability is a stim that increases your team's weapon damage if you step foot into it. So it looks like this. So you have that little thing on the left and right of your screen, the little up arrows that's telling you that you're buffed. And that pretty much means you shoot faster. You shoot really fast. Like, it's kind of hard to control, you know? His Q, Molotov. This does a lot of damage. If they're inside that Molotov, it does a crap ton of damage, and it can be comboed very, very well with Sage's Slow Orb. So if Sage's Slow Orb goes down, and then Brimstone throws a Molotov on top of it, it's going to kill them before they can even get out of it. That's how much damage it does. So I would advise combo it with another character, or use it to clear an angle without actually clearing the angle. And now the smoke grenades. This is why I think this character is really, really useful. His Sky Smoke. You hit your Sky Smoke button. This is an overview of the map. So now you want to hit one here, hit one in heaven, and hit one for the plant. And then you right click, and they drop. So now it's smoked, smoked, and smoked. And now your team can kind of run in and quickly plant right here, plant over here. It's a pretty wide radius. You could plant right here safely, and then everyone could peel back. Or maybe do it in between, which I messed up, but... So you could do it that way, and you could kind of take this fight. Or you could go for a plant, and let's say everybody's funneling out of showers right here. You could go for a plant, put one here, and then put one right here. And that's what it looks like. Now everything's smoked off. The only thing you have to worry about is your right-hand side, and then you could just, boom, drop it right here. And now you got an easy plant, right? So that's why he's really important. Brimstone's really important because you could successfully plant the spike for free, you know? You maybe have to deal with like 1 or 2 threats. His last ability is his ultimate. So let's say you do plant the spike right here. That's where the spike is planted, okay? And you're in a 1v1, and you know they have to defuse it. You could hide around here, and if you hear the defuse and you think they're on it, you could open up your orbital, really quickly blow it up. And then you could peek with it, get ready, get ready, get ready, and then just kind of verify where the person might be. Maybe they died of the orbital, whatever. What you could kind of combo is you can go, all right, we're going to hit this quickly. So we're going to do, let's do smoke, smoke, and smoke, right? So you do that, you drop the smokes, and now you use your ultimate ability, and you really quickly cut off the rotate like that. And now if you look at the top left, the ultimate's happening right there, and it's cutting off the rotate, right? But that's pretty much a breakdown of Brimstone. Nothing too crazy. Don't want to keep going with, don't want to keep going with more examples. I think we did enough examples of how everything could be used. So let's move on to another character. So now we're going to show you Omen. He's going to be pretty self-explanatory. He's one of my favorite characters simply because he's just cool, you know? Looks like my logo, you know, that's pretty dope too. That's a win-win right there. But let's explain him real quick. So his C is his teleport. He could teleport pretty far. He can also teleport on top of objects, which is pretty useful. One thing to mention about the teleport is that it leaves no trail. The only thing that it does is it makes a noise from the position that you are standing in when you teleport. Let's say you're over here taking a fight down this lane and somebody's right there, right? You can actually get to the other side and they would have no idea you went to the other side. They would hear the initial noise, but they wouldn't be sure where you teleported. You have 2 charges, so that's important to note. You can use it twice. Now, the Q ability. Q ability is called Paranoia, right? Paranoia looks like this. Now, if you look at the mini-map, you can see how far it goes. So that's showing you what it's connecting with, right? So you could be hiding. If you use it correctly, it could be absolutely devastating to the enemy team. Let's say they're pushing through this arch. Let's say there's 3 of them, and you're hiding behind this box. You're chilling. You're behind a box. It's okay. You use your Paranoia ability, and now you peek with it. They're all going to be blind. They will not be able to see any distance at all. The max range that they probably could see is from, like, me to this box, okay? So if I hit my Q right here and peek into them, they're going to have no idea what they're seeing. Now, the E, this is called dark cover. So you use right-click to make it go further, and E to bring it in, left-click to shoot it. Now, if you look at the mini-map, you can see it moving, so you can do it from cover. So let's say you want to assist your team all the way at A, and let's say they're coming up short A. Look at how far I could throw this. Boom. I just threw that orb and blocked that area for them, and now there's a smoke, and they feel a little bit more safe. The ultimate, when you press it, you can teleport anywhere on the map. You just left-click. When you left-click on the map, there's a 3-second window where your shade is standing still. If they shoot your shade, it'll cancel your ult and it'll waste it, right? So you normally want to do it in a location where you don't think they're at, but close enough to get into the fight as fast as possible. The reason for that is when you use your ultimate ability on any character, there's a voice line that is heard. So when you click this button, everybody on the enemy team will know that Omen is using his ultimate. I'll show you what it looks like. And that's the shadow I was talking about. It's like a little image of yourself sitting there, so they could see it and they could shoot you, right? You could throw a smoke in a standard location, like so. Wait for it to land. Use your ultimate ability. And now you're inside the smoke and you're in cover. And now you can flank very quickly. And they might not know where you actually landed. So that's a really, really safe way to try to get into the fight. But anyway, those are just like some simple ways to play this character. He's really, really cool. He's useful to the team in many ways. Blinding the opponents, smoking for your team, and being able to flank. So here we're going to do Cypher. Cypher is going to be pretty quick, very easy to explain. He's a very, very useful character, and I'll show you why once we jump in this game. You take out your trap. Now you can use abilities so long as they're on your side early, right? So what you could do is you can put a trap here. You could put a trap here. And then you can leave your solo player, whoever wants to play this site, alone. And you can leave them. And you could go help A early, right? If you decide that you want to quickly jump through this wire, it's going to slow you down and reveal your position through the wall. So let's say I'm over here playing kind of safe and somebody jumps through. I'll see them right through this wall and I'll be able to peek and just kill them very easily, right? Now, another thing that's useful is his cage. The cage ability is good because you could throw it down like so. You could pop it, and now it's this giant wall. And if they jump through and they try to commit through this wall, it's going to really screw them up. What's cool about it is you can place the trap down like so. So the trap is there. Now all you have to do is look at it and hit F and it detonates. So if you time it right and you know that they're about to explode onto your site, you can let one person pass, pop it, take out the one person, and now the whole team is behind. Now they have to think to themselves, do we go through it and be really, really slow, or do we just let our teammate die? And then the third ability, which is also really good, is he can throw his own camera. Let's put the camera right here, okay? So I don't even have to be peeking. I could just be hiding behind this box, just chilling, and I could just be on my camera, and I could be looking. You quickly jump on the camera, see if anybody's close. Nobody's close. Okay, maybe you go this side. You look. Oh, somebody's right there. You shoot them with a dart. Peek them. There's so many like cool ways to use this character very effectively. Every single one of his abilities is really useful. Now, his ultimate, if there's an enemy dead body next to you, you can throw your ultimate on top of it, and it hacks into the enemy team, and it shows their position through the walls for 1 second and on the map. This character is essential, and I think he will be used in every single game of Valorant. Unless he gets changed in some sort of way, but for now, he's absolutely incredible. The information that he can gather and the delay he can do to the enemy team is absurd. Your whole team wants to go B, so what you can do is you can set up your traps nice and early. You could put one here. So now if anybody rotates and tries to flank you, they're going to have to get hit by this trap. So now you know the only spot that they could flank you successfully is through this teleporter. And the other side of the teleporter is right here. Another way he's useful is, let's say they do go through the teleporter, the trap cage. You could just leave one right there. So let's say your whole team took the site, you hear the teleporter go off, you quickly turn around, detonate it. Now they can't flank you. They're not going to go through that. There's no way. They'll be too scared to go through it, and now you're good for however many seconds. Let's say your team has fully taken this site. You have control of B. Cool. Jump on your camera. Okay, nobody's flanking. Cool. Get back in the game. Flanking? Nope, nobody's flanking. Cool. The speed of which you could jump to your camera and jump back to your character is very, very fast, so the information that you gather is absolutely insane. And the ultimate works the exact same. You see a dead body, you use it, reveals the enemy team, so you can know if a reactor site is open or not. And that's why I think Cypher is absolutely essential for both attacking, defending on any single map. I'm going to talk about Jet in like a live map scenario. So we'll show you an example of how she can get to a position to get a frag a lot faster than the opponent, right? The opposing team is stuck right behind this barrier. So my goal is to get to this position and get a snipe faster than they can get there. So for example, go here, we run, and dash. So we just got set up before they did, right? Because we have that dash ability. So to show her abilities in the flesh, her smoke ability is very challenging to use. Like I said, you can curve it in the air like so. But in order to hit a smoke in the air, it is very, very challenging. You could smoke, and then you could walk out. They don't last that long, but they last just long enough. And they're very, very fast to throw. So you can use them in combat situations very well. Another example is maybe you guys are trying to maybe your team is trying to explode out of the showers here, right? So you can do this. You can get close, boom, boom, boom. And now you just walk through a giant smoke wall and it'll surprise the heck out of the other team. So that's different ways she could be useful, right? A good example is curves. If you want to curve it around the corner, you could kind of do that. Although it's very, very hard to do this and pull it off successfully. See, like right there was pretty good, right? When it comes to defending, she has this ability, which is her Q, right? We could be sitting up here, and we could, let's say we have a phantom, right? And somebody's on the other side of this truck. We could jump up and kind of surprise them, right? Now, her knives, her ultimate. She gets it fairly quickly. She only needs 6 charges to get her ultimate ability. Now, if you hit somebody in the head with a knife, it'll one-shot them, and it'll refresh your charges on your knife. Let's say, for example, you're up in heaven and you're defending, and they have full control, and there's a smoke there, a smoke there, and a smoke there. You can hit your Q, dash, and stab wherever they are, right? It can make for a really, really quick, fast play with very, very low sound, so nobody would really expect it, you know? You could also hover. So you got to be really precise with these knives, but if you are precise, it will really pay off, and you could really make a crazy play in the round. She's the playmaker. She could change the course of a round in an instant because of how quick she is, right? So if you feel like that's kind of your playstyle, Jet might just be for you. All right, here we go. We're going to show another character. We're going to show Phoenix. Phoenix is very, very straightforward. I wouldn't say he's too difficult to master. You very well could mess up your team, but if you do, it won't be too impactful. So he uses Flame Wall, which is called Blaze. Flame Wall could be used to deter the team from pushing, or it could be used to make a sneaky play and, you know, cut across a corner. An example would be like this. Now it's deterring the team, but at the same time, I kind of snuck myself into another corner without them visibly seeing. Nobody's going to want to jump through the flame wall because it's going to do damage, and whoever's on the defending end is going to be at the advantage. It can even be comboed where you could throw the flame wall, and then you can throw a flash around the corner and then run through it yourself. And the reason why you can do that individually is because the fire does not hurt you. The fire actually heals you. Flashbang can also be useful for your team. If you're about to swing around this corner and everyone's trying to make like an aggressive play, throw the flash, everybody peeks together. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, okay? How his E ability is useful is for clearing corners. Just throw that down. Now, they're either going to die or they're going to run around the corner into your crosshair, and then you're just going to shoot him in the head. Easy peasy. For his last ability, which is his ultimate, you could very well waste it if you use it too early. But let's say you want to make an aggressive play through this area. You use it right here. You go crazy, whatever. If you die, it's not a big deal. It's just going to teleport you back to where you started. Like so. I would say Phoenix is more on the easier end to play. So if you're a new player trying to have some fun, learn the game mechanics, Phoenix might be your choice. Here we're going to be talking about Sova. So we'll start off by showing how the drone is useful. So for example, let's say you have a teammate that's trying to get aggressive through these arches. You know, they don't want to do it without information, right? So you could sit here, your teammate could be in front of you, covering you. You use your drone, and you go spot it out for them. If you see somebody, make sure you shoot this bolt at them, because if you shoot this bolt, it's going to really, really help your teammate, because it's going to show their position through the wall. You'll see their little outline. The Q ability, which is the shock, it's a burst ability. The closer the enemy is to the center of the ability, the more damage it will do. So let me show you what it looks like. So you see how it has that radius for a second? The closer they are to the center, the more damage it does. I don't know the exact damage value, but I know 2 shock darts can definitely kill players. I had a couple games where I've actually killed 2 people with one shock dart. Another thing you could do with the shock bolt is you can bounce it. So if you see under the charge ability, it says bounces 1, 2. If you right click, it adds bounces. This recon bolt works the exact same, but instead of doing damage, it pulsates. Looks like this. It has a radius. Now, how this works is if they get caught by the radius, it'll show them through the wall, and it'll have an outline. The counter to this bolt is, if you're hiding behind a wall, it won't reveal you. What you want to do is shoot it right away. So if you see somebody shoot it like this, you can actually shoot the bolt before it pulses once. So no information will be gathered besides, oh, somebody shot my bolt. A lot of people I saw on Twitter were really, really worried about this ability because it gives you, essentially wall hacks. It's not as strong as people think. They have to be within view of the bolt, and even if they are within view of the bolt, all you have to do is shoot it. It's really, really noisy. Anyone in that site will be able to just turn around and shoot it and stop it from happening. So that's why it's kind of a balanced ability, right? And now the last ability he has is an ultimate that he can shoot through the map. When you hit it, pay attention to the mini-map top left here. You'll have a little arrow going through the map, and that's where you know it's going to land. So let's say you're sitting here on B, and your team is getting attacked from A. You can assist them by having this crazy skill shot, which is actually really, really hard to hit, but it hits for about 80 damage, so you can two-shot people. It's either 80 or 70, I'm not really sure. That's what it looks like. And you can pull off 3 shots. And the second you hit them with one of those shots, it'll reveal them through the wall. So that's how you can use his ability very effectively to assist your team, even when you're not there. A lot of characters work in that way, where they have supportive abilities that you can use across the map. So that's why communication in this game is very, very key to assist your teammates the best way possible. All right, here we go. Last character we're showing. Last character. My voice is dying. Viper is one of the most skillful character I think I've played. And the reason why she's very skillful is because a lot of your abilities will hurt your team if not used correctly. Her first ability is Snake Bite, which is pretty much just a pool of acid. Her second ability is Q. It's a poison cloud. It looks like any other smoke grenade in the game, but it does poison damage. Her E is a toxic screen. Now, toxic screen is, you could shoot this across the whole map, and I'll show you what it looks like when you hit E. You see on the top of the map where it's showing that blue line? So you can shoot it over rooftops. So technically, you can assist your team at the other site by throwing it over. And her fourth ability is Viper's Pit. This is a giant cloud that you can control yourself. So long as you're inside the cloud stays up. If you leave the cloud, after a certain amount of time, the cloud will go away. All the abilities that Viper has does poison damage. Now, poison damage is a little different from fire damage. Fire damage is direct. It'll just hit you for flat damage. What poison damage does, the longer you sit in it, the more HP you lose. Your HP can go all the way down to 1 HP, but it cannot kill you. If you exit the cloud of gas, your HP will regen back to what it was. If you use it when your team is aggressing and you don't communicate it accordingly, they might be sitting in your gas and go all the way down to 1 HP, and somebody shoots one stray bullet, and that's it. They're done, right? Another thing to note is that Viper does not take damage herself when she's in her abilities. As you see, there's the bar going up in the middle, and that's her toxic bar. So her Q and E are shared with that bar. So as long as they're activated, that bar is going to go down. When you turn them off, the bar is going to go up. It charges just normally, right? Let's say you think somebody's on the other side of this wall in this cubby. Boom. You shoot that. It'll do a lot of damage. They cannot sit in that. They will die very quickly. So it's a good way to clear your corners. Now, her Q ability is something that you have to actually trigger yourself, right? So let's say you want to put it down right here. You hit Q. Boom. The gas is up. If they walk through it, they're going to slowly take damage. So they probably won't. Now, it stays up for as long as you want or until the bar hits 0. And now it's done. And now you can't use it for a couple seconds. As you see when I press Q, there's a bar. I press Q again, there's a bar. So I can't use it yet. Still can't use it. I still can't use it. And now I can use it again. So it's to prevent like people constantly turning it on, off. Her E ability is the really, really neat ability because you could create some crazy plays. So you hit E, and you could shoot this across the walls. So let's say you want to, at the start of the round, you want to separate this whole place and work a crazy push. So you go like this, boom, you shoot it. It looks like so. Now everything's set up. So you shot that right away, pop the wall, get ahead of it, and now you're totally behind the wall, and the enemy team could be right on the other side, and they have no idea. Your whole team could be behind this wall right now, right? The gas goes down, and now you start firing. Everybody's right there. One thing to note is once you use this ability in a round, you cannot pick it back up. It's there the whole round. Unlike her Q, which you can actually pick up. You can pick up her Q, so that one's fine. You just can't pick up these. And now lastly, for her ultimate Viper's Pit. This is the one that's really, really tricky because the radius of the ability is very... it's very hard to perfect, I guess is the best way of putting it. And this is why. So let's say you have control of the site and you have the spike down and you planted it. Let's say you put the ability right here. Now the gas starts to form. This is the radius. So now your team, if they're inside this site trying to protect it, they are actually losing HP. So they probably want to play outside of it. But you yourself would not want to play outside of the ability because if you stay outside of this zone, the smoke integrity goes down. If the bar hits 0, that means the smoke goes away. So long as Viper's inside that ability, it will not go down. It'll stay there forever. Another thing to note about this ability is that Viper does not take damage. And if an enemy gets close enough to you, even though you don't see them, there will be a red outline. So you could play around these really, really tight corners. And to them, they have no idea where they're running. They can't see anything. But you as Viper, you have a little bit more range to work with. So if somebody swings on this corner, before they even see you, you're going to see them first. So you have that advantage. This character and this ultimate can make some crazy clutch plays in like a 1v3, 1v2. So I would say this is more of like, you know, once you've gotten familiar with all the other characters, maybe try this one later, you know, because you don't want to hurt your team. Anyway, that's Viper.